And now weighing in on the developments in the Senate, we have Attorney Michael Yusinko, a senior research fellow at the Ateneo Policy Center. Attorney, welcome back to Morning Matters.
Good morning, Pauline, and good morning to all your listeners and viewers.
All right, first of all, Attorney, what do you think of the gunfire incident in the Senate, and what will its impact be on the image of the Senate as an institution?
Well, that's a tough question to answer. The incident itself, given the circumstances, really is it will tarnish the institution. But I think more than that, it will strengthen the distrust of the public with the current Senate leadership. No? Yung mga namumuno ngayon at namumuno nung panahon nung insidenteng yun. Talagang mas maraming tao magdududa sa kanila at yung mga taong nagdududa na ay mas lalong lalalim yung pagdududa sa kanila. No? So sa palagay ko yun yung I think that's the more critical impact of what happened. No? That the public is really now questioning whether can we still trust, can we still rely on the senators, can we still rely on the Senate to perform its constitutional duties.
Mm-hmm. Well, Attorney, we also have Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano insisting that until there is a local court order for the arrest of Senator De La Rosa, then there was nothing unlawful about him leaving the Senate premises. Now, from a legal standpoint, is there basis for that kind of argument? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, of course. No, that's a legal opinion. No? That's a valid legal opinion, which obviously I don't share. But still, and everybody is free to express their legal opinion, no, about this particular issue. But that's not the point. The point is, the Senate, as an institution, has no authority to prevent law enforcers from serving a arrest warrant. Well, kasi ho ng ICC warrant yon or local warrant, the Senate has no authority under the Constitution. Kahit basahin mo pa yung Constitution from front page to the last page, wala kang mahahanap na nagsasabi doon that the Senate can prevent or stop the service of or the execution of an arrest warrant when parliamentary immunity is not applicable. No? Wala yan sa jurisprudence, wala yan. In fact, wala rin yan sa rules ng Senado mismo. So, whatever the status of the warrant is irrelevant from the perspective of the Senate. Yun yung punto na maling nangyari, maling ginawa ng Senado is that they exceeded their authority when they prevented the execution of the warrant in the Senate.
But as we know, Attorney, Senator Bato de la Rosa is no longer inside the Senate premises. He left around 2:30 a.m. on Thursday and reportedly along with Senator Robin Padilla. Given nga po na there is a standing ICC arrest warrant against Senator Bato, could individuals who are assisting him, aiding him, potentially face obstruction of justice?
Absolutely. No, I just don't know what the penalty for obstruction of justice is. But if it is beyond 6 years, then the senators who aided the escape or the disappearance of someone or the subject of a warrant of arrest can be held liable for obstruction of justice, as those employees or officers of the Senate who acted in their behalf. No? So, yung pagtulong nila o yung pag-maneuver nila or pag-orchestrate nila ng pagtakas ni Senator Bato, that can be the subject of a criminal charge of obstruction of justice.
Okay, but Attorney, last Wednesday, the Supreme Court notably did not issue a TRO in its resolution. Instead, it directed both parties, both the respondents and Senator Bato de la Rosa, to submit their comments within 72 hours about the petition. What does the absence of a TRO signify at this stage? And walk us through the process habang nag-aantay po ng komento ang Supreme Court. Can the arrest warrant against Senator Bato de la Rosa still be enforced?
That's a good question. Ano? So there are two ways of looking at it. So the first one is, kung dahil walang TRO, walang injunction, that means the arrest warrant can be executed, can be served. No?
Okay.
Kumbaga, hindi pinipigilan ng korte, then pwedeng gawin. No? Which is what the NBI was trying to do, or what the PNP was trying to do. Now, the second way of looking at that is, okay, wala tayong TRO, tapos medyo volatile yung situation, maybe it's better to just wait for the decision of the Supreme Court. Anyway, yung timetable naman, hindi naman mahaba, no? Kasi yung mga deadline is short and strict, no? Nung nandun na si Senator Bato sa loob ng Senado, that option was actually viable, no? From the perspective of the NBI. Kasi, anyway, alam na nila kung nasan si Senator Bato. So, pwede na nila munang hintayin yung desisyon ng Korte Suprema, tapos kapag nag-decide na yung Korte Suprema, they can serve the warrant. Kasi alam na nila kung nasan siya. He's in the Senate, no? So, that second approach was prudent and viable sa palagay ko. So, those are the two ways that you could, sort of approach the fact na hindi nag-issue ng TRO yung Supreme Court. One is you can execute it no matter what. Or two, you can say na hintayin na lang natin. No? Anyway, alam na natin kung nasan siya, tas para wala nang kaguluhan, pabayaan na muna natin. Let's just hold off for a while and kumbaga let things calm down para maayos natin yung pag-serve ng warrant.
So malinaw, attorney, there is no legal impediment for the executive to enforce this arrest warrant on Senator Bato. But considering that the senator's whereabouts remain unknown already, as of now, can he legally be considered a fugitive from justice at this point?
He is technically now a fugitive kasi wala na siya eh. Tumakas na siya eh. Right? Iba siguro kung nandun pa rin siya sa Senado. Yung ini-explain kong scenario, yung second scenario sa'yo. Kung nandun siya sa Senado, nandun lang siya, then pwede natin sabihin na hindi siya fugitive kasi nasa kustodiya siya ng Senado. Alam naman ng law enforcement na kung nasan siya. But because he escaped and disappeared, then technically he is now a fugitive from justice, no? Kasi meron siyang pending warrant, hindi siya mahanap, wala siya sa kustodiya ng kahit anong public official or government agency, then technically he fits the definition of a fugitive from justice.
Pero attorney, until when can the government delay or wait to act on a valid ICC arrest warrant? And does the executive even have the prerogative, the discretion on whether or not to surrender Senator Bato to a foreign court?
Your question has two parts. So yung first part is, can they wait, no? Can they, or how long can they wait? Kung nandun sana si Senator Bato sa Senado, they could have probably waited until the Supreme Court rendered the decision. But now that he has escaped and can't be found, they have to serve the warrant now at all costs, di ba? Kailangan nilang talagang haligungurin yung buong Pilipinas para mahuli siya. Wala na yung option na sinasabi kong maghintay tayo. Wala na yun kasi tumakas eh. So kailangan nilang hanapin at hulihin si Senator Bato. The second part of your question is, does the government have any discretion not to serve the warrant? Well, yes, in the sense that if they don't serve the warrant, then they have to file the cases in the Philippines against Senator Bato, right? Kasi kung hindi siya kakasuhan ng crimes against humanity sa bansa natin, then that means yung ICC case will stand, di ba? Ganun lang naman yun eh. It's either in the ICC or in our courts. Di ba? Yun din naman ang sinasabi ni Senator Bato, di ba, na kasuhan siya sa korte natin. So, if the Marcos administration decides not to serve the warrant for some reason, then they have to file the charges in our courts and then, of course, arrest Senator Bato and detain him in our jails. But if they don't choose that, which they can, obviously, then they have to arrest Senator Bato and then deliver him to the ICC for the case there.
Attorney, balikan ko lang yung question on how long can the government, the executive branch, actually delay the serving of this arrest warrant? Kasi we already know, apparently, this ICC warrant was already given as early as November last year. So it's been about 6 months already and hindi pa rin po nasa-serve itong arrest warrant. They only tried to do it when Senator Bato resurfaced at the Senate on Monday. So for months parang hindi po tayo sigurado if the executive even tried to really serve this arrest warrant. And now that Senator Bato has gone into hiding again, ano po yung mangyayari? Is there anything that the ICC can do or may sanctions po ba yan? Anong magiging implication if we do not surrender Senator Bato to the ICC?
I don't know about sanctions that can be imposed by ICC. No? So
Okay.
that question is better answered by international law experts and also those who are involved in the ICC. But to answer your question directly, wala nang delay. Hindi na pwedeng delay. Kumbaga, the moment na nakawala ulit si Senator Bato, that already triggered the urgency that the government must have in executing the arrest warrant. Now, may sanctions man o wala, from our perspective as Filipinos, dapat ang iniisip natin, kung hindi ma-serve yung warrant, then ano yan? Kahinaan ng Marcos administration yan. Right? So that's a sanction also, di ba? A social or public sanction against the Marcos administration if they continue to fail to execute this arrest warrant.
So now, let's go to the perspective of Senator Bato de la Rosa, attorney. What is the best move for him at this point? Are there still legal remedies available to him?
Last na yung sa Supreme Court, no. That's his final legal remedy, at least sa Pilipinas. So yung kapalaran niya is now tied to the decision of the Supreme Court. So kumbaga ang best case scenario sa kanya, of course, is to coordinate with the NBI, maybe through the efforts of the Senate leadership ulit, if that's going to work. No? Once the Supreme Court renders a decision, then that's it for him. No? Wala na siyang ibang legal remedies.
But what do you think also, attorney, is the most logical move for Senator Bato now? Is it prudent and would it be for the benefit of everyone if he just surrenders himself to the ICC?
Well, it will certainly spare his friends and family from the anguish, no, and the anxiety. Kasi right now, siguro ang pinaka nasasaktan ngayon yung kapamilya niya at mga kaibigan niya, no? Kasi si Senator Bato, of course, his background, sanay siya doon sa ganung klaseng buhay, no? Yung you're always on the run and you're always hiding, right? Pero I can just imagine the toll that has on his family, knowing some of his family members are also part of government, di ba? So that can be causing them serious anxieties and anguish then. So he has to take that into consideration, no, na yung life on the run might be acceptable to him or tenable for him, but for his family, for his immediate family and his friends, that might that might be causing them more harm than good.
All right, Attorney. Well, once both parties submit their comments as ordered by the Supreme Court, what are the possible scenarios that could follow? Kayo po, ano po yung inyong inaasahan?
So there are two possible scenarios. Obviously, kapag sinabi ng Korte Suprema the warrant is valid under our laws, then the government must execute that warrant. No? But if the Supreme Court says no, the warrant is not valid under our laws, then the DOJ must pursue the criminal charges in our courts. So either way, yung Marcos administration is on the dock, as they say, no? Hindi pwedeng patulog-tulog lang sa pansitan ang Marcos administration dito.
All right, well, we're going to leave that there for now. Thank you very much for sharing your insights with us this morning. That was Attorney Michael Yusinko, Senior Research Fellow at the Ateneo Policy Center. Thank you, Attorney.
Maraming salamat din.